Have you ever wondered what really goes on behind the scenes of government? How decisions are made that shape your community and your future? Welcome to Govern, the podcast where we take you inside the world of public service, leadership, and the innovation driving local change. Join us as we explore the roles of elected officials, how government operates, and what it takes to create real change. We'll dive into forward-thinking leadership lessons, and how we all can influence the decisions that shape our communities and futures. Thank you for tuning in to Govern with Supervisor Curt Hagman.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Govern. My name is Curt Hagman, the County Supervisor of 4th District, and today I'm very excited to have Josh Dugas with us, who's our Director of Public Health. Josh, you're one of my favorite directors because you're always very responsive, and honestly, when I first got in the county, I really know what the scope and sphere of public health was until we started. And then we got thrown into COVID, and that's when you came in a few years ago, and it really blew up what public health and the public perception of public health. So let's first start off with, what is your department? Well, tell me about yourself first. How'd you get to become our director? Then tell me a little bit about what your department does.
Perfect. I appreciate the kind words, and must say thank you for your many years of support, especially through the tough times of COVID. So I have been with the county for 24 years now, and almost 24. And I started in public health as it's called a registered environmental health specialist. So I was the guy that went out and put those letter grades up so you know where to eat. And just throughout time, I worked my way up through environmental health. I had a wonderful opportunity to be the CFO of the Department of Public Health, Chief Financial Officer. COVID hit, I became the assistant director, and also during that time, I became the director. So I'm born and raised in San Bernardino County. So it's a wonderful opportunity to give back. Both my parents worked for local government. So I feel like it's kind of been in my blood for a while. So it's wonderful. The big question, what is the Department of Public Health and what does it do? It's big, like you said. Yeah. It's surprising, and even being a part of it for so long, I thought I knew it all. But every day I get to learn new things. But we're about 1,200 employees, so we're pretty big. We help people, restaurants, and animals, and everything in between. Some key programs we have 7 clinic locations. We provide medical and dental care. We have lots of programs to support women and children. Our Women, Infant, and Children program provides nutritional benefits. We have our California Children's Services that provides financial support to children with severe medical conditions. We have a lab where we test things. During COVID, we did a lot of testing on that. We do not just disease surveillance for COVID, but lots of things: tuberculosis, hepatitis, and many others. And then, the 2 programs that we're not completely unique, but that aren't always associated with public health or environmental health, which, most people know it for the restaurant inspections, but we also do vector control, help to, keep people from getting West Nile, and then our animal care, which is a wonderful program as well.
Well, let's try to dig in so many different things. So the primary mission is your department working with the county and the cities and everybody else to try to keep our population healthy a certain way. And it's always confusing, even for people inside government, much less our normal residents, that funding comes in different places. So we get federal funding, state funding, county funding, and everything in between. And each one of those programs have certain rules and directives from that funding source of how to do things, correct?
Oh, yes, sir. So the department is primarily grant funded. So like you said, each of those, many programs I just listed receives a different funding, whether it's from the federal government or the state government, and they're tasked with certain deliverables. We have an overarching level of funding called realignment funds, which gives us a little bit more flexibility, but ultimately, like you said, to serve the main goals and objectives, which is to improve the health of our communities. We get a little bit of fee revenue from our environmental health services, and then you are all kind enough to allocate us some general fund to help our animal care, our animal care division.
That's been a huge issue lately. But let's start off with I guess one of the things I see on TV right now in different states is like the measles outbreak. So not just talk about measles, but in general, do you monitor, how do we monitor our population, our childhood diseases, our other diseases, our general health through your department, and what do we do to counteract that a little bit?
Oh, it's an excellent question. So on the front end, we do prevention in our clinics. We have mobile medical units that are out in the field. We offer immunizations, vaccinations, and well checks for children and adults. But we have a whole group. Most people became very familiar with them during COVID when they would do the contact tracing or reach out to you if you got COVID. But they monitor dozens of diseases, measles being obviously a major priority. Thankfully, we haven't had any cases this year. But what will happen is people, hospitals and doctors are required to report those to us. When we receive those notifications, we reach out to the individuals involved. We notify people that may have been contacted. We monitor them. And in the case of certain diseases or illnesses like tuberculosis, for example, if those individuals don't have access to standard medical care, we'll work with them to provide them the treatment to ensure that they're no longer infecting people. So it's kind of a three-step approach. Try to stop it from happening. Once we figure out it happened, address the person, and then try to stop it from spreading.
Wow. And so I also serve on Inland Empire Health Plan. So do we coordinate with that? Because that's kind of like the public wing of healthcare.
Oh, most definitely. They're one of our favorite partners. We work with them on a wide array of different topics, but definitely things like that. They assign individuals to us, and we are able to provide them a medical home in our clinics. We partner on one-off events and ongoing community health improvements. So they're a wonderful partner.
That's great. You touch on environmental health, and I'm even a layman here, but what I do see is the ABC in the window, and occasionally we get a call to our office saying, hey, I didn't get the right grade or whatever. So tell us how that works. We send out inspectors out to restaurants once a year, or how often?
Yeah, so it's a little bit risk-based. So for a standard, like we call it food preparation restaurant, that could be anything from like a fast food restaurant to a larger sit-down facility. We do those twice a year. Unannounced. It's not an effort to get them in trouble, but oftentimes, if they know we're coming, they tend to prepare a little bit. So we don't want to catch them, but we want to see how they operate so that we can offer them ways to improve. And it's kind of a twofold inspection. There's like the physical component, which would be, making sure everything's clean and functioning properly, like equipment.
Refrigeration,
yeah.
Temperature.
They can keep things hot, cold things cold. And then there's the employee activity portion, which is ensuring people like that are involved in food preparation wash their hands, cook things to the proper temperatures, understand how to properly cool things down, and things along those lines. And again, it's never an effort to catch anyone. We establish wonderful partnerships, and it's more to help them being the operations, operate safely and protect the public.
Well, it's so important, because that's exactly right. You want to make sure you protect the public. You don't have a bunch of food poisoning going out there from a particular restaurant, whatever the case may be.
Oh, if you've ever had one, you know for sure you don't want one.
Yes. So thank you for doing that as well. Yeah. I know you work with our homeless committee a little bit too, because Joe and I was put on that little task force, and I know we got a lot of, additional resources last couple of years to try to address that. What role does public health take in homeless?
Yeah, we're lucky to be involved in that also. Up front, when we have individuals who may not have a medical home or a place to go, we try to help get them in for preventative care as best as we can. But where the rubber hits the road is we help with field services. So we're a part of the En-ROADS team, which does field-based support and care. We provide nurses, and we have we call it our WOW van, but it's Wellness on Wheels. And then come out and do minor medical procedures and immunizations and help people identify resources within the Department of Public Health and outside. And then now that we have our mobile medical units, we're super excited. So we can do obviously medical, it's in the name, but we have 3 units now. One is strictly medical, one is strictly dental, and one is both. So dental care is honestly something people don't always think about, but it's a major resource people.
I'm going to throw a plug in here for the county and for your department here, is that you have been, we started this program in 2020 to be Innovate 2020, to try to go after best practices and reinvent ourselves. And I know the county for the last 5 years have set the record of the NACO awards for the number of most innovations, but your department just keeps doing this. So the fact that you've got a mobile vans because of the country's largest county, and you're not making people get to you, that you're going to them, is, I'm sure you got several awards for that, but talk about some of the other awards you got so far.
Oh, so, not to brag, but I'm going to a little. I think the Department of Public Health has won the most awards the last couple of years, and it may not be officially official, but I think we got it again this year. But the mobile medical units is a perfect example, but we do it, and we've won awards for so many other things. It's constant innovation, and what you referenced is key, is we are constantly trying to figure out how to get our services to people, make it easier for people, make it cheaper for people, faster, better, safer. And we've won them from everything from environmental health. Our animal care has won a number of them for the way we care for our animals, the way we issue our vouchers, to all the programs in between that serve our children and elderly and most that need. So it's been we're happy for the recognition, but we're even happier that the programs are working.
I've been so thrilled to be a county supervisor, going out and bragging about the county being the number one county 5 years in a row now of all the counties in the United States, because of departments like yours that really step up the innovation. We're so proud of that. And let's talk about animals, because that is a huge part of what we're dealing with lately. I know our board is animal lovers. I got my 3 dogs at home. And I know, like you said, we put in general fund resources to try to do things. Kind of what is the state, first of all, what's the job of public health in the animal sector, and what are we doing to try to make our furry friends happier?
Oh, I love talking about animal care. It's very challenging, but one of the most rewarding programs we have. So we offer 2 types of services with a whole litany of details in between. But we provide field services. So we have animal control officers that are out and about protecting people from animals, but also identifying animals that may need help and bringing them in and getting them vet care and helping them, trying to help them find homes. And then we have the sheltering component, where we currently operate 2 shelters, and thanks to the extreme generosity of the board, we're in the process of building a 3rd one, which is very, very exciting. But we also partner with, I don't want to steal your thunder, but the Animal Resource Center on the West End that you're a part of, some other shelters throughout the county. So we're out and about, but the ultimate goal all the time is to do what's best for the animals and to A, help reunite them with their owners, or B, find them a safe and loving home. We, with the support of the board, have been able to do so many things the last few years. We have a mobile medical unit where we can provide spay and neuters, mobile or minor medical procedures, vaccinations, microchipping, licensing. Wonderful. We've been rolling that out, and it's been extremely successful, to the point where once we launch appointments, they're almost filled up within minutes. We have launched a volunteer program, a foster program in the last couple years, bringing in community members to help us and to help care for animals that are usually either, a little fragile in their health or young, that don't do well in shelters. So we're trying to find ways to help them out. We partner with our children. We recently launched an initiative with the Bloomington High School, where it's like a mini vet office, and students get to learn how to do everything from working the registration to grooming to providing care. We have our Telling Tales program, which students come in and read to our animals. I'm sure I'm forgetting things. Well, I guess I'd be remiss not to address some of the bigger ones too. We have a trap, neuter, vaccinate, and release program. We partner with Priceless Pets and the Paw Mission.
So lots of good traps and spay and release. Explain that, because I know we put some more funding in that, and so that's for. I know we have a lot of neighborhood cats. I guess we call them, feral cats that come in, and we'll put we'll neuter them. We'll put a chip in them and then release them.
Yeah. So we partner with Priceless Pets, which is out in Chino Hills, the Paw Mission, which is also a mobile medical unit, and now our mobile unit does it. And on top of that, we have an amazing voucher program that people can use to get reduced cost spay and neuters. But all those groups offer free spay and neuters for those community cats. I had one in my neighborhood when I grew up that 4 people thought they owned it. She was sweet regardless, but with those type of cats, we don't want to bring those to the shelter because they're thriving in their environment. We want to allow them to continue to do well, to bring them in, and to prevent additional unwanted or kittens that may not have homes, yeah, we do exactly what you said. We'll spay or neuter them. They do a little ear notch so you know that they've been spayed or neutered, and then they're put back into their community so they can continue to thrive while not creating additional
And
animals.
if someone wants to take advantage of our voucher program, how does that work?
Oh, very easy. If they visit our website, we have a link. You click on it, put in your information, and you have to be a resident of the unincorporated area, and we'll email it to you. And then we have lots of vet partners throughout the county that'll accept them.
Our district office is partnering up with some of our cities too, because those lines are not that clear sometimes to see if we can even expand that program on the west end. So we're looking forward to that. Thank you for all your services you're doing for our animals here, but what else can we be doing better? What's in your vision that we can be doing as a board, as a community, as residents to help out?
That's an excellent question. The ultimate goal of mine, or I think any shelter, would be for it to be empty. We don't want animals in those shelters. So the one thing the community could do is practice responsible pet ownership. Keep your dogs, cats, animals on a leash. Keep them in your yard. Spay and neuter your animals. And if they don't come to us, we don't have to find them a home. They could stay in your loving home. As an individual, we have lots of ways that you can support. We have a volunteer program. We have a foster program. Adopt an animal. Provide resources. We have a nonprofit attached to our county shelter called the Animals Are First Fund. You can donate to that. It provides medical care, microchipping, free to animals that come into our shelter. I can't say it enough, but if you're looking for a furry friend, where else can you find unconditional love for $20 for a dog, $10 for a cat? Come on down to the DeVore Animal Shelter. Look us up on the internet, and we'll find you the love of your life.
That's the cheap part. I just got my 3 golden doodles groomed yesterday and bought food for 2 weeks, and I think I used half my paycheck on that.
Yeah, I can't help you with the care. Can't help you with the care piece, but we can find you the animals.
Yeah, they're great. They're great companions. But it's not just dogs and cats. You have to take care of whatever animals we have out in this large county too. So you have large animal rescue and storage and other things like that. So thank you for all the great work in there. We talk about San Bernardino County being the largest geographical county. So I'm sure it's a bunch of different areas that are different. The mountains are different than the deserts. They're different from the valley. But public health is at the point of when we have any kind of disaster too. Because it's not just the firefighters going to fight the fire, it's the recovery. What do we do about the food, the water supply, all the rest of it? So talk about a little bit with the public health's role in natural disasters and other disasters.
It's big, and it provides us a lot of opportunities to help people. We've done everything from supporting call centers to, like you said, many other things. But the primary areas outside of providing logistics and support, and by the way, I have to put a plug. I know you talked to Crisanta. Her and her team are absolutely amazing to work with. But we provide care for animals. So during the Line and Bridge fire, we provided housing for over 660 animals. And it wasn't just cats and dogs. We had everything from lizards and birds to alpacas, llamas, goats, chickens. So it's a very diverse group of animals that we get in. And then you alluded to it. We have our environmental health section to where if a area is out of power or may have damage from other reasons, we help to go in and make sure that if a restaurant's reopening, that the food, equipment, and everything's safe so that they can do so in a way that doesn't get people sick. And with wells and even septic systems and things along those lines, we are able to map that out, reach out to property owners and say, hey, before you start drinking out of that tap, you might want to just test this or treat this, or let us help you make sure that
Run the water for a while.
Yeah, that
public service.
Yeah, that you're safe, so you don't inadvertently come home and then get yourself sick and have a whole nother issue to deal.
How does public health communicate with our 2+ million residents? Is it their responsibility to go on your website, or do you have email alerts? Do you have what kind of notification systems can you do by region?
So our website is obviously an amazing resource, but we don't expect everyone to know where to go all the time and to know what to look for. So we have a really strong social media presence during disasters, especially. We work in partnership with county PIOs, other organization PIOs, to get our information shared that way. When broad messaging is sent out, whether it be regionally or across the entire county, we make sure to include the key resources or key information. Over time, we've developed a flyer or informational piece on I won't say everything because there's always something new that comes up, but lots of different topics. So we even go as far as to deliver them to facilities. We may place them in libraries in impacted areas, at businesses, just to make sure we try to paint as broad of a brush stroke as we can to make sure as many people get it as possible.
And you mentioned this at the very beginning of our interview about our lab. We have a pretty good lab here too.
Oh, we do.
Talk about what you do in there.
So our lab is actually, it's called a reference lab. So we don't want to use this ability often, but when things like anthrax are possibly identified, we can test that in there. But on a day-to-day basis, we support multiple hospitals and in other groups, the Children's Resource Center, with testing of all kinds of things. We do everything from flu to COVID to
COVID was really ramped up. We had a lot going on during that time period. And COVID's still around, just a different strain and going around. So people are still getting vaccinated sometimes, but it's more for the vulnerable populations, right?
Yeah. And I think that's pretty consistent across the board. If you're in a vulnerable population, extremely young, elderly, you want to consider staying up to date on not just COVID, but some other vaccinations, flu vaccine and things like that.
Josh, since you've taken over this public health, you said you have 1,200 plus employees there, professionals, and you're thrown into a lot of leadership roles, I guess, not just on a normal basis, but also during crisis. From your experience, you've been working in the county 24 years and stuff. What makes a good leader, and what are the attributes that set out for you to lead such a great department?
For me, I think I view leadership as a team sport. So we need to do it together. Obviously, someone needs to be in charge, but I feel one of my most rewarding and important jobs is to give my staff clear expectations, set a level of accountability, and then provide them the tools and resources to be able to succeed and accomplish whatever those goals and objectives are. I try to focus on a few key areas. Customer service and communication. I feel like you can never go wrong there. We try to be as transparent as possible. Customer service, I love helping people, but I encourage my staff, what's one more thing you can do? What's one more way you can help? Impact and innovation. Impact, well, I think we all wish we just had unlimited resources, but we don't. So we have to be strategic and ensure that whatever we are given the ability to utilize, we get as much impact out of as possible. And we always want to innovate to be able to be more effective, and help more people. And then last would be accountability and action. Holding people accountable to what they're expected to do, holding ourselves, most importantly, accountable to a high standard. And action, I think we've all been there where you've gone to a meeting and everyone's, yeah, this is a great idea. And then you come back a month later to the meeting and you're like, oh, it's like the same meeting. We didn't accomplish anything. So making sure that when we have plans, objectives, goals, expectations, that we actually actively execute. Yeah.
Well, I'm so impressed with your department, especially since you're taking over. I actually was there when you took over and saw the improvement. And again, you're setting the standard up very high for the rest of the nation when it comes to county public health. And we're very proud of you and your department for everything they do for our residents all the time. For those who want to get more information, go to his website, sign up for the emails, go on the social media, get to the Instagram, whatever else they have to stay up to date. That's our responsibility too. And please come out and help our animal shelter. You can volunteer, you can donate, you can adopt. We want to make sure we're taking care of all our residents, both human and furry friends alike. And thank you for watching this episode of Govern. We look forward to the next issue we have. And Josh, thank you again for everything you do.
Well, thank you for the kind words and for the opportunity. Appreciate all your support.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed the conversation and found some valuable insights. Be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for our next episode. Until then, remember that your voice matters in government.